All right, guys, welcome back to the class, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. So, we are discussing the topic of collections, and inside collections, we are seeing the list interface. And we actually saw the first class of your list interface, which is the array list. Now, over here, guys, if you observe carefully, array list is just an extension of an array. Okay, whatever is the drawback of the array, whatever is the drawback of the array, those drawback have been overcome in array list. What is the drawback of array? Size is fixed. Now, if you observe carefully this entire script, line number 9, over here, guys, I'm not even giving the size, right? And we are storing the values inside the array list. Yes or no? The second thing over here, guys, is if you look carefully, the elements are getting added, but I am not giving the index. I'm saying add 10, add 20, add 30, add 10, add another string, right? Add null values, add double value, add boolean value. So we are adding even the heterogeneous data types. Different data are getting stored in your array list. Is this part clear to everyone? Now, over here, in today's class, we will try to compare your array with array list. Okay? Quickly, we will do this particular stuff together. So, I want you guys to quickly launch your Eclipse. And please make sure that when you are studying the topic of collections with me, please keep your mobile phones away. Okay? Just focus on the things. I'll try to keep the lecture short and concise so that, you don't feel over exhausted or overwhelming with all these topics. All right, quickly launch your Eclipse now. Now, guys, let's quickly create a new class. Let's call this particular class as array versus array list. As usual, I want the main method over here. So quickly create the main method. Control Shift F, fix the formatting. Let me just zoom in for you guys. I don't need this package explorer, so I'm going to minimize it. I need the pen tool, so I'm going to keep it over here. All right. Now, guys, the next thing that I want over here is I want you to create an array. Okay. Let's say I want to create an array of integers. All right. So let's create an array of integers. Int, okay, numbers. What is this? Reference variable equal to new int of 10. This is how you create an array. Yes or no? This is the array creation. So over here, guys, just to repeat it one more time, this is my reference variable. This reference variable points to the array which is created in the heap memory. Now, when I'm saying that I'm going to create an array, I am telling the size of the array also that I need 10 memory locations. So, you are going to get 10 memory locations. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. So 10 memory locations and the index is going to be from 0 to 9. All right. Now, each memory location will be initialized with the default value. Why? Because the array is created in the heap memory. So new keyword signifies that the array will be created in the heap memory. All these memory locations will be initialized with the default value of integer. So 0, 0, 0, 0. Is this part clear to everyone? Yes. Perfect. Let me delete this particular drawing now. Over here, guys, I want to create an array list now. Okay. When I was creating an array, I had to give the size. And over here, you see this int. Int is a primitive data type. Okay. So now I want to create an array list of integers. All right. Array list of integers. So I'm going to say array list is a class. Okay. So I'm going to say array list. Okay. Read the description. It's a resizable array. an array which can be resized, can be increased and can be decreased. Is this part clear to everyone? A resizable array which can be increased or decreased, and it implements the list interface. Previously, when I was creating an array list, I have written list of AL. Of course, because this is your object-oriented programming, you create the reference of parent. Alright. Here also I should do that, but I will not do it, okay, because I just want the focus to be on array list itself. So array list is a class. I'll use this particular class. It is asking for a type. What type of your array list you're going to create? Now understand this thing over here. We have not discussed generics in detail, but again slowly and steadily it will come into picture. Over here, this signifies the type. Now, your array list is a part of collections framework, right? So over here guys, in your collections framework, collections is only going to deal with objects, meaning non-primitive data type. Array which I created over here was using primitive data type. Okay. So if I have to give a type, to this array list, I cannot write over here integer. Try to write integer. Write it along with me so that you can see it in front of you guys. Alright. If I just close this, you see, I'm getting an error. But let's say I'm going to create a reference variable also equal to new array list. Alright. And I'm going to put int here also. Which is not working. It's already giving me a compilation error. So if I'm going to bring my cursor over here, read carefully. Syntax error. Insert dimensions to complete the reference type. Okay. Whatever the dimension, the type of this array list you are supposed to give, it has to be of an object type. Alright. Or let's say it has to be a non-primitive type. So when generics was introduced now, and the thing is, generics basically helps you with type safety. So when you were having collections like array list, linked list, vector, okay, and I want to create an array list of integers, because here I am trying to create an array of integer, right, int data type. So I could not pass int over here for sure. I have to give some non-primitive data type. So what Java developers did now, Java developers created some special classes. Okay, created some special classes. These special classes are basically wrapper over your primitive data type. So all your primitive data type, integer, byte, short, long, double, boolean, float, right, character, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All these 8 primitive data types have their respective non-primitive data type, that is classes. So int has a special class, okay, int has a special class which is called as integer. Are you getting the point? Int data type, the primitive data type, has a special class called integer. And once this integer class is created, I can pass it over here. Is this part making sense? So over here, guys, we have to give a type. And this type over here, guys, has to be non-primitive data type. Okay, it can be class, it can be interface. So if I suppose want to create a int array, right? And similar stuff I want to do in array list also, I cannot use int data type. I have to use the wrapper classes. Okay. So the wrapper classes are created so that you can use them as a type in collections. Is this part clear to everyone? Perfect. So now let's close this particular drawing. So you will not put over here int. What are you going to put? You're going to put over here integer class. You're going to say integer. Copy this. Put it over here also. Is this part clear? So we created a resizable array that can store integer kind of values. This is how the declaration happens for an array list. This is how you declare a array. Is this part clear to everyone? This is the resizable array. All right. This is my array list of integer. Can I go ahead? Perfect. Let's zoom out a little bit now. Now guys, I want to store some values in the number array. How can I do? Numbers, square bracket of 0 equal to, let's say 10. This is how you store the value. So what is going to happen? Over here, let's say this is my array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Everywhere 0 will be there. Right? Here also. But then I am saying numbers square bracket of 0. So on this 0th index, you put 10. Is this part clear to everyone? Right? So this is numbers. Clear? Perfect. Now, let's go ahead. I want to store something in the array list. How can I do that? AL. Now this array list reference, I'll be using it. When you were accessing the array, you were using numbers reference, right? This is the reference for the array. So that's the reason numbers square bracket of 0. Now I want to add something in the array list. So this array list, guys, is going to store what? Integer kind of data. Which is my array list? This is my array list. And over here, guys, this is a reference. So with this reference, I will be interacting with this array list. This array list can store integer kind of data. So when I do al.add, it is telling me that you give me integer kind of values. All right. So I can put over here 10. Done. Done. Now observe carefully. Observe carefully. Let's try to print the values. I'm going to say system.out.println arrays dot toString, okay, numbers. Similarly, I'm going to take AL and I'm just going to print this AL over here. Observe carefully. Click on the play button. Do you agree? Do you agree with this? Over here, guys, we have this entire array, fixed size, and over here on the 0th index, 10 is coming into picture. Rest all the stuff is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And over here, array list is like, I just have 10 with me. So it is only going to print whatever is being stored over there. Only 10 is there inside this array list. All right, quickly write this particular code at your end. Quickly write this code at your end. Now, guys, let's add more values. I'm going to copy this. Okay, let's put over here 1. On the first index, I want to store 20. Let's click on save. Click on the play button. You will observe 10 and 20 stored. Your array list is still having only 10 value. Let's add one more value. I'm going to say al.add 20. Let's click on the play button. You see 10, 20 coming into picture. Now let's add and complete the entire array. So this is going to be your second index, third index. This is going to be 30, 40. All right. This is going to be the fourth index. This is going to be the fifth index. This is 5, 6. Copy this. Paste it over here. Let's put over here as 6. This as 7. This is going to be 70. This is going to be 80. And let's complete this tab also. 8, 9. This is going to be 90. This is going to be 100. All right. Let's zoom out over here, guys. Quickly write it at your end also. Just update this array with the respective value. Just make sure it is full. All right. So if I'm going to click on the play button, all the elements are filled now. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. This is the last index. Now, your array list is still having 10 and 20. Let's fill the remaining data also. Okay. Now, over here, guys, let's put a semicolon here, here, here. Let's make it 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Let's click on the play button. Your array list is also like at the same level as that of your array. Now, this is where the magic starts to happen. Let's say I want to add more elements. 90 and 100. Click on the play button. Your array list is increasing. But if I try to do the same stuff with an array, you know what is going to happen. You will get array index out of bound exception. Are you getting the point? So, your array is already having a fixed size. This problem that I want to store data, but I don't know the total size of the elements or the memories that I will need, okay, is actually solved with the help of array list. So, array list is actually a resizable array. Okay. Now, you will be like, Arey Jatin, your 10 is getting stored on which index? 0 index. Okay, this is on 0 index, this is on 1, this is on 2, this is on 3, this is on 4, this is on 5, this is on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, this is an extension of array. If your array was storing all the elements in the consecutive order, okay, one after the other, array list is also doing the same stuff. Meaning, this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, again 90 and again 100. These are all the elements which are stored one after the other. Are you getting the point? So, this is your 10, this is your 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right? Again 90, then 100. All right, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is your AL. All right, and it has already provided me with utility methods. Here I had to play with indexes. Okay, if I know the index, only then I can store the value. I'm just saying keep on adding. Is this part clear to everyone? Now, in order to retrieve the records also, let me just comment this particular stuff for you guys. Even for retrieving the records, it's pretty simple. I can just say system.out.println al.getv. Give me the index. Give me the index over here. Let's say I'm going to give 5 over here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On 5, you have 60. So, if I'm going to click on the play button, 60 will be printed on my console. Are you getting the point? And the same thing you would have done with your normal array also, right? If I was going to copy this, paste it over here, and I write over here number, okay, square bracket of, let's say, 5. It is also going to print 60. Or let's say I'm going to give a different number, 3. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, we have 3, we have 40. So, if I'm going to click on the play button, 40 will get printed over here. This is how you retrieve the elements from the array. All right, with the help of array list, I can use the get method. All right, now, let's say I want to insert something between 10 and 20. So, over here, 10 is on the 0th index, 20 is on first index. So, I want to insert something. Can I do that? The answer is yes. So, over here, guys, with the help of array list, I can do that. I will say al.add only, okay, insert the specified element at the specified position, okay. So, I want to put something after 10, na? So, this is 10 is going to be on 0th index. So, I'm going to make it 1 over here, and the data that I'm going to give is going to be 55, okay, 55. So just copy this particular stuff and I'm going to print it over here. Now observe carefully. 10 and 20. Now over here I have 10, 55, 20. So on the first index I am putting 55 and all the elements 20, 30, 40, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 90 and 100, they are shifted towards the right. Try to do the same thing with your array. Okay, you have to write the custom logic. Okay, that's the thing over here. Your collections helps in all these things. Okay, now if I want to remove an element also, observe carefully. Let's say I want to remove an element. I'm going to say al dot remove. I'm going to say remove the element which is there on the 0th index, meaning this 10 needs to be removed. All right. So I'm just going to copy this line again one more time and print it off for you guys. Click on the play button. You see 10 got removed. 55, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 90 and 100. So 55 now is on the 0th index. Are you getting the point? Understand something. What does remove basically means? So we have this particular array list, right? 10, 55, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. All right, we have 100, 90 and 100. This is my array list. Array list looks exactly same as an array. Okay, so over here, this is how my array list looks. Over here, this is on the 0th index, 1 index, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Size of your array list is 13. 0 to 12, na? 13. Now, I'm saying remove 10. When I say remove 10, all the elements will be shifted towards the left. Why? Because we want 55 to be on the 0th index. We are removing something. So, first on the 0th index, 10 was there. Now, 55 is going to come on the 0th index. So, the new positions of the element will be something like this. Okay, you are going to have 55, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, again 90, again 100. All right. This is going to be 0th index, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8, 9, 10, 11. Your size of the array list has become 12 because we have removed an element. Positions have been shifted towards the left. All right. Now, try to do the same stuff. Okay. If I'm going to copy this, put it over here and I'm going to say al dot get me the element on 0th index. Okay. If I'm going to click on the play button, it should give me 55 now. All right. So over here, this is al getting printed. Yeah, this is 55. Now let's comment this one now. The last line should be al dot get of 0. So if I'm going to click on play button, 55 is getting printed. Are you getting the point? Okay. We also saw how to add an element in between. Okay. How to add the element in between two positions with the help of add method only. So over here, guys, let's say I want to add something between your 0 and first index. So 55 and 20. I want to add an element over here. So I'm going to say add 1. On the first index, let's say I want to add 33. So what is going to happen? 55, which is going to be on the 0th index. For on the first index, 33 will be added, and then your remaining elements, 20 is going to come on second index, 30 is going to come on third index, 40 is going to come on fourth index, so on and so forth now. Okay, so this is how add method works. You can add the element between two elements also. I hope that particular part makes sense. You have to give the position where you want to add, and all the elements will be shifted towards the right or left. Is this part clear to everyone? Let's quickly write the code then. I'm going to say al.add. On the first index, I want to give 33. All right. And then let's just copy this system.out.println al, print it off over here. Click on the play button, and here you will see 55, 33, 20, and the rest of the elements are coming into picture. All right. I want you guys to quickly write this particular code. Don't rush into, like just completing this thing off. Practice on how to work with your collections. Okay. Now you'll be like, Jatin, how exactly the size is increasing? Jatin, how exactly it is shifting those elements? We will see all those stuff. Okay. Don't worry. The first thing is getting comfortable with all these methods. Okay. Because on your day-to-day basis, you will be working with your collections a lot. Okay. But in your interview, they will definitely ask, tell me the internal working of your array list. Okay. How does hash table work? How does hash map works? So these things they will be asking in interview, but on day-to-day basis, they will not, you are not worried about all those stuff. So those things we will also discuss it off, but I want you guys to get comfortable in writing code first. All right. So what is this called? This is generic. Here you are telling that you are creating an array list which can store integer kind of data. Okay. Now what is the purpose of generics? We will see it in future also in a much more deeper level. I'll have a dedicated lecture on generics itself. But right now it is just important that you understand that this particular guy is going to help us define the type of the list. So here I'm defining that I'm going to create an array list which can store integer kind of values. So that's the reason 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all these are integer values. But they are not int values. They are not int values. Are you understanding something? This is technically storing int value. Collections always store what? Objects. So 10 is an object, 20 is an object, 30 is an object. All these things, these are all integer objects. All right. So we will see those stuff, but remember it off. Now, quickly write this particular code, guys. Then we will try to look at different methods which are there in array list. All right. All right, guys. I hope you have written the code. Now let's go ahead and quickly do a revision of all these things together. See guys, let's first duplicate this particular file itself. I want to work on a different file. And over here guys, let's try to reduce the size of the array also. The reason for that is it's a lot of elements, right? So let's make it like around 5. Okay, so we are going to have an array of size 5, meaning I can access index from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest all the elements, bye-bye. All right. The next thing over here, guys, is we are creating an array list and I'm adding a lot of elements. Let's keep it small. Let's decide to add till 60. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Size is 6. Now let's remove all the methods. Okay. So that the code looks a little bit smaller for us. Okay. Now over here, guys, let's try to do a quick revision over here. See, when I am talking about an array, okay, this is my array. Your array is basically a data structure which is going to store data in continuous or in a sequence, one after the other. So I will be having an array of size 5, meaning 5 memory locations will be given to me. First, second, third, fourth. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Array is also going to store similar kind of data. So nature of array is what? It is going to store only homogeneous entries. Yes, only homogeneous data can be stored in the array. Now array is going to be created in the heap memory. Since it's going to be created in the heap memory, all these memory locations will be initialized with the default value of the data type. Here the data type is integer. So everything is having the default value as 0, 0, 0, 0. Then whenever I have to access an array, I need a pointer. Okay. So these indexes basically helps me access these memory location. Perfect. So when I say numbers square bracket of 0 equal to 10, this is the reference variable numbers. Numbers is basically storing what? The hash code of the array created in the heap memory. So this is how I will be able to access the array. with the help of number. Numbers know where the array is created in the heap memory. So with the help of number and following the index 0, okay, I will be able to access this particular memory location, and I'm going to say that store the value 10 in that particular memory location. So 0, which is written over here, will be updated with 10. Make sense to everyone? Similarly, your 20 comes, then your 30, 40, 50. And if I'm trying to access the fifth index, what will I get? You will get array index out of bound exception, right? Because you're trying to access something that does not belong to the array. There is no other memory or the other memory location coming into picture. Your array starts from 0th index, ends on 4th index. There's no 5th index anymore. This particular memory location your operating system is using for some other resources. Are you getting the point? So the problem of the array is size is fixed, right? To overcome this particular problem, to solve this particular problem, okay, Java introduced ArrayList. Java introduced ArrayList. ArrayList is basically what? You can see I'm creating an object. ArrayList is basically a class which belongs to which package? Yes, to which package ArrayList belongs to? Java.util. Java.util package. Please make a note of this particular point. Now, ArrayList is part of your collection framework also. So you have your Java collection framework. The first thing which comes into picture is iterable interface. Iterable interface basically talks about what? How the collection will be traversed. So all the methods related to traversing a collection is going to be there in iterable. Okay. Next thing, this particular interface is going to have a sub interface, a child interface. Okay. And that is called as collection. Then this collection interface is having 3 sub interfaces: list, set, and queue. What about map? Map is a different part of the collection framework. It is not related to your iterable collection and all. Why? Because it stores the data in key value format. Is it the part of the Java collection framework? Yes. Okay. Is there a relationship between iterable collection, list, set, and queue and map? No. Okay. That's the reason its structure, its hierarchy is different. List, my dear friends, is going to have classes like ArrayList, which we are studying now. Then you're having linked list. Then you have vector. Vector has a child class, and that child class is, yes, now you know, stack. Vector is what in nature? Vector is what in nature? Synchronized. Synchronized basically means what? It is thread safe. ArrayList is not thread safe. The methods of ArrayList are not synchronized. If something is not synchronized, it is fast. Is this part clear? This is what study is. This is what revision is. You thought I'll be writing code or what? I will be writing code, but the main thing that comes into picture is you have to keep on revisiting the stuff again and again, that no matter when an interviewer or anyone asks questions related to these topics, you should be able to answer it off, right? We started from array, we came to collection, then we saw the hierarchy. Now we know one more thing, that ArrayList is what? Is not synchronized at all. Vector is synchronized, and that's how you will be able to remember it in interview also. What is the difference between vector and ArrayList? Both are part of list interface. Kudos. What is the next point? The next point that comes into picture is vector is synchronized, so it is thread safe. ArrayList is not synchronized, meaning it is not thread safe. You might have seen this particular concept somewhere. Okay, in some topic of Java, we have discussed this particular concept. Something is thread safe, something is not thread safe. Yes, which is that? String builder, string buffer. Okay, string builder and string buffer. What is the difference between string builder and string buffer? The difference between string builder and string buffer is that your string buffer, we know that both are mutable, but string buffer methods are synchronized, meaning they are thread safe. I can use it for a multi-threaded application. String builder is not thread safe. Methods are not synchronized. Okay, so it can only be used for single threaded application. ST is single threaded. Are you getting the point? But there is one more thing. Because the methods of your string builder is not synchronized, it is fast. It is fast. Because the methods of ArrayList are not synchronized, ArrayList is fast. Your vector is slow. Is this part clear to everyone? Perfect. Let's come back over here. Let me just quickly rub this particular board, guys. Now we'll try to look at different methods which are there. When we are talking about ArrayList now, ArrayList is what? The definition of ArrayList is, it is a list. We know that. But there is one more thing about ArrayList that you should be aware of. That ArrayList is a resizable array. Is ArrayList going to store the data in continuous fashion? Yes. Is it going to have indexes? Yes. Okay. Whatever is the benefit which is there in array, you will get everything in ArrayList. Whatever the drawbacks which was there in the array is solved in the ArrayList. Size was fixed, na? It created a resizable array. It means Java created the resizable array. Okay, are you getting the point? If you look at this entire script, guys, for your ArrayList, I am not even giving the size. Am I giving the size anywhere? This is the utility method. Am I giving indexes anywhere? I'm just saying add 10, add 20, add 30, add 40, add 50, add 60. In array, I have to tell on the 0th index, go and store 10. On the first index, go and store 20. On the second index, go and store 30. Right? So, we have to remember the indexes. In ArrayList, now, this is what utility methods are all about. Getting the point? Java collection framework provides utility methods so that you can perform standard operations on the data structures. Getting the point? Yes or no? It provides me with different algorithms. Which are those algorithms? We'll see in a moment. But that's what the whole definition of a collection framework is. These methods add, where exactly it's coming from? Collection interface. Are you getting the point? Implementation is taken care by ArrayList. Implementation is taken care by your ArrayList. All right, let's go ahead, quickly write a little bit more code. So add method, my dear friends, is going to do what? It is going to add the element in the ArrayList. Is this part clear to everyone? One more important thing, guys. You see integer, na? What is this integer written over here? Yes, what is this integer? This integer is generic, right? This integer is generic. Now, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of your generic? What is the purpose of generic? If someone asks you, why do you need to use generics? What is the benefit you're going to get? Type safety. I have created an array list that can store integer kind of a data. Can your generic take primitive data types? No. Can I write over here int? No. Can I write float? No. I can write float class. So all your primitive data types have their respective non-primitive classes. Classes are what? Non-primitive in nature, na? So over here, guys, all your primitive data types have their respective classes, and those classes are basically called as wrapper classes, right? So integer is what? It is a wrapper class. Are you getting the point? Perfect. So over here, tell me something. This 10 which you see and this 10 you see, are they same or different? Different. This 10 over here is an integer value, where this 10 which you are trying to add is an integer object. Collection is what? Collection is going to store collections of objects. Okay? It cannot work with primitive values. It will only work with objects. Alright, so there is a difference between this 10 and this 10, this 20 and 20, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, over here, guys, this is how you add the data in an array list. This is how you add the data in your array. Now, I want to print these two chaps. We will use the toString method.
So if I just want to print the data, I'm going to say system.out.println. There is a class in Java which is called the arrays class. Arrays again, which belongs to java.util dot toString, and just give the reference. So if I'm going to save this and I'm going to click on the play button, this is the element which is there in the array. All right. So let me just write it over here, something like this: numbers, square bracket, plus. Let's click on the play button. This is how it looks. A little bit plus better. Okay. Copy this. I want to print the array list. No need to write arrays.toString, nothing like that. So I'm just going to say AL. Okay. Give a little bit of space. And what I will do, I will just say AL. AL is my variable, reference variable. Click on the play button. Done. This is what my array list is storing. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay. Your array is full right now. Okay. If I try to store one more thing, I will get array index out of bound exception. Now, suppose over here, let me just delete this particular drawing now. Over here, look carefully, guys. This particular element is stored on the 0th index. This is on first, this is on second, this is on third, this is on fourth, this is on fifth. Now, what I want is between 10 and 20, I want to store something else. Okay. So, right now, if 10 is going to be on 0th index, and let's say I want to store over here 99. So, 99 is going to come on the first index now. Then 20 is going to come on the second index. 30 is going to come on third index. Okay, 40 is going to come on fourth index. 50 is going to come on sixth index, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth index. And 60 is going to come on the sixth index. Is this part clear? So, we will insert something between the two elements. If you try to do something like this, or if you want to do something like this in a normal array, you have to resize the entire array because the size is increasing, right? So, if I want to do something like this in the array list, yes, I can do that. How? There is a method which is called as the add method only. I'm going to say al.add. You see, I have to give the index where I want to add the value and which element, which object I want to store. So, over here, I will say on the first index, I want 99. All right. Copy this and I want to print it again. Click on the play button. Are you getting the point? 10, 99, all the elements got shifted towards the right. Okay. Now, let's say, guys, I want to see the length of the array. How do you do that? So, if you want to see the length of the array, I'll write it over here. System.out.println, you know better than me. What is that? Dot length property. Dot length is not a method. So, I'm going to say array length only, I'll write it off. Okay. Give a little bit of space. Numbers dot length. Click on the play button. Length is 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 to 4 index. Length becomes 5. Count the number of elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, the size is 5. Similarly, let's say I try to print the size of the array list over here. So, in array list or in collections, we don't say length, we say size, because size is the method also. So, I'm going to say al dot size. If I'm going to click on the play button, you see size is 6. Okay, I'm printing for the previous one. All right, then I'm doing the addition. So, over here, the size is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 elements are there. But if I'm going to print it again one more time, okay, after doing the insertion on the first index, size is 7. Is this part clear to everyone? Yes? Great. Now, let's say I want to update something. I have 10 on the 0th index. I want to update it with 5. So, 10 needs to be removed and 5 needs to come into picture. How can I do that? In order to perform updation, will I use add method? No. Add is going to insert. So you have to use al.set method. Give the index where you want to perform the updation. On the 0th index, make it 5. All right. I'm going to copy this, print it for you guys. Click on the play button. Ta-da! Done. Is this part clear? Perfect. So if you want to perform updation in the array list, set method is going to come into picture. Set method, you need to give the index followed by the value, whatever you want to update with. Note that over here, this 99 is not an integer value, it is an integer object. Because you're using generics, right? It saves a lot of my script also. Else, I would have written something like this. 99. Okay. Now you don't need to write all these things. Okay. It has been deprecated. You don't need to write it. Just put 99. It is going to work. Is this part clear to everyone? Next, let's say I want to delete an element. We saw how to remove or delete an element. al.remove. Now you have two methods. Remove, which is going to require the index, and then remove an object. We will look into both the methods. Now let's say I want to remove 5. So guys, when you want to remove something now, see, I don't want to keep this particular space itself. I want to remove this particular element, and the entire array list is going to start from year till year. So 99 is going to be on the 0th index. This is going to be on 1. Let me change the color. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you getting the point? Size is also going to reduce. Size is going to become 6. Okay. So over here, if I want to remove something, I'm giving the index. All right. And then I will try to print whatever is there inside the array list. Click on the play button. Okay, let's close this particular stuff, and you will see now I have 99 on the 0th index. If you don't trust me, just say something like this: system.out.println al.get me the value which is there on the 0th index, and it is going to print 99 for us. Is this part clear to everyone? Perfect. So it is going to remove it. Size is also reduced. System.out.println al.size. Okay. I should have taken this line itself, pasted it for you guys. Copy this one more time. Paste it over here. Click on the play button. Yeah. Size is 6. Reduce. Now, previously it was 7. Now it is 6. Clear to everyone? Perfect. So this is how you remove it. Now, let's look at the other method also. Remove method part 2. Over here, guys, if I do al.remove, there is a second method which says remove an object. Removes the first occurrence of the specified element from the list. Now, I want to remove, let's say, 60, or let's say a different number, 40. All right. Now, if you put over here 40, remove 40. Will this code work? Take a moment, think about it. Remove 40. Look at both the code. Al remove 0, where 0 was indicating the index. Okay, and I'm putting over here 40. Okay. Now, the thing is, if I'm going to click on the play button, observe what happens. You're going to get an exception. Index out of bound exception. So this 40 which you are putting over here, it is not thinking that it is a value. It is thinking that this is going to be an index. Are you getting the point? What is collection? Collection stores objects. So if you want to remove 40, na, you have to give integer data. New integer 40. Click on the play button. Okay. I forgot to print it. My bad. Okay, just copy it. Paste it over here. Do you see? 40 is removed now. Are you getting the point over here? So if you want to remove a particular element, you don't know where that 40 is. I don't know the index, but I know that there is an object which is storing an integer value called 40. So that's the reason I created an integer object which stores a value 40. It is going to search where exactly that 40 is coming in the array list, and it is going to remove that, and this is going to be the updated array list. Is this part clear to everyone? So this is how you give the object. As I have said, your array list is not storing int data, it is storing integer data. Integer is a wrapper class. So this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever you are seeing in the array list, these are all objects. Okay. So that's the reason when I'm trying to remove, I am removing an object of integer 40. Where is the object of integer 40? This is the one. This chap got removed. Getting the point. Perfect. Make a note of this particular point quickly. This is important. Okay. Let me write it along with you guys. So this particular method is going to take an integer object. Okay. So this 40 which you see, okay, new integer 40, okay, this is an integer object. And why I need to give an integer object? Because whatever you see in the array list, it is not an int value, it is an object. So we have to remove that particular object from the list. And what remove method is going to do? Remove method is going to remove the first occurrence. Alright, let's check it whether it removes the first occurrence only. Let's add one more place, 40. Click on the play button. You see, the last 40 is there, but after 30, this particular 40 was removed. Is this part clear to everyone? Perfect. Great. Now guys, let's move on to the next method, which is the isEmpty method. Now isEmpty method, as the name suggests, it is going to tell me whether the array list is empty or not. And I can just simply use it like this: system.out.println, your array list reference dot is empty. Click on the play button. False. It has some data inside it. Let's say guys, I decide to create another array list. Array list of integer, okay, data list equal to new array list of integer, and I'm not storing inside this data list anything. Let it be empty. So I'm going to put it over here, data list dot is empty. So if I'm going to click on the play button, what will be the output? True, because we have not stored anything inside this list. Is this part clear to everyone? Perfect. Pretty simple method, right? Now, another method which is there in your collection, particularly for your array list and all, it is index of method. Okay, index of method. So I can use it something like this: al.indexOf. It is going to give me data in integer format, integer value. Okay, not an object value. So this is index of method, and index of method requires an object. You know how to pass it off now? New integer, okay, of let's say 30. So I want to know the index of 30, okay, in our array list. So 0, 1, 2. The answer should be 2. Index of 30 plus index. Let's save it. Click on the play button. Okay, 302. I mean, like a little bit of spacing I should give it off. Okay, that's something bad about me. I don't know. Like sometimes I just keep on forgetting about it, that I need to give a white space. But anyways, happens with everyone, right? Index of 30 is 2. Clear to everyone? Perfect. Now, let's say, let's add more element into this array list. Okay, I'm going to say al.add. Again, I'm going to add 30. So we have 30 at two places. This is the first one. This is the second one. 0, 1, 2. Okay. And then at the last place, I'm having 30 again. So some of you guys might have guessed the next method which will come into picture. Last index of. Okay. So I'm going to create another variable called last index of. And I'm going to say al dot last index of new integer. All right. 30. Sys out last index of. If I'm going to click on the play button, whatever is the last index, that should be printed off. So let me just print the message correctly. I'm going to say last index of, and also I want to print the last index of variable. Let's click here and I should see the last index of 30, which is 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, right? Now, one thing I'm a little bit curious, what is going to happen if I remove this new integer 30 and I decide to put 30 over here directly? Will it work? Yes. Let's click on the save button. Let's click on play now. And the answer is yes, it works. Meaning, in your remove method, okay, because your remove method is an overloaded method, right? So over here at one place, this is going to expect an integer, right? Because this is for the index. So it is not able to bifurcate that if this is going to be treated as index and then what it should be treating this particular guy, the object as, right? So over here, I have to explicitly write like this, new integer of 40. But for your index of method and last index of method, I can directly put 30 here also then. Is this part clear to everyone? Is 30 still an int value? Object. Why it is happening? Generics. Okay. So let's click on the play button. It still works. The first index of 30 is 2. The last index of 30 is 6. All right. Perfect. Can I go ahead? Let's move ahead now and let's talk about sorting. How do I sort an array list? Pretty simple. Collection. There is a class called collections dot sort, and you can pass your list to it. So I'm going to pass my array list to it and it is sorted. Yes, it is sorted. So if I'm going to say system.out.println al, let's click on save now. 20, 30, 30, 40, 50, 60, 99. Sorted, right? Works. Is this part clear to everyone? Perfect. What if I want to do the sorting in reverse order? Can I do that? I don't know. Collections dot reverse the list. "99, 60, 50, 40, 30, 30, 20. But since I'm using the word over here reverse, what reverse is actually doing over here? Let's comment this entire sort. Okay, I don't want to sort it. I just want to reverse it. Let's click on the play button. And now you observe, it has reversed the list. It is not doing the reverse sorting for you. So if you want to do reverse sorting, you need to first sort it and then you are supposed to reverse it. Make sense? Okay. So reversing is only going to reverse whatever was there on the last index is going to come on first, second last is going to come on second index, so on and so forth. Is this part clear? Perfect. So these are all the methods, the utility methods which are there in your collections, particularly for list. There are other methods also. So I don't think that you will be using many of these methods. Okay, these methods which I've covered over here are something which you might need on your day-to-day basis. So please make sure you practice these methods again. Now, one thing I have not covered over here, What is that? Iteration. Okay. This class is actually getting a little bit longer than what I was expecting it to be. So guys, I want you guys to first practice all these methods. Whatever we have seen over here, just practice it off well. In the next class, we will be discussing on the iteration of a list. What are the various ways you can do the iteration? How to use iterator, how to use the for each method, okay? As well as we will also look into split iterator. Remember, from the iterable interface. Okay, we will also see how to work with a normal for loop and traverse over a array list. I'm pretty sure you are aware of that stuff, but just giving you a heads up what all things are going to come in the next class. Please make sure you practice all these methods first. Okay, do it one more time and only then move on to the next class where we will be discussing the iterators. Okay, we will be spending a decent amount of time understanding each collection class. Okay, so please make sure you practice this thing, then you move to the iterator. Post iterator, we will create a very simple contact application and we'll understand, okay, how exactly you can store a data or a like a custom class data inside an array list. Okay, all those things we will practice it off and then we will try to understand the internal working of the array list. Is this part clear? Perfect. That's it for this particular class, guys. Now I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. And don't forget to mark your attendance for this video.